The Cape Town Museum of Childhood is an exciting museum for children and people of all ages. It's a place for exploring and celebrating childhood. It's the first ever museum dedicated to children to open up in Africa. To tell us more about this museum is Chanel Fredericks, who is the programming manager here at the museum, and she'll be telling us what people and young kids can experience when visiting this place. Come with me. The idea to start the Museum of Childhood came from the director of the Center of Early Childhood Development when he visited London.
The director of the organization that I work for, called the Center for Early Childhood Development, Professor Eric Atmore, he visited London and he saw that London had a Cape Town Museum of Childhood, and he realized there was no museum of that kind here in South Africa or in Africa, and he decided that he wants to come back and start a museum of childhood.
The museum has so many interesting things that children and adults can experience, like an exhibition that relates to childhood and so much more.
We have different exhibitions that are related to childhood. So we have a exhibition on children's rights, and it's based on the UNICEF rights of the child. And in this room, we have a lovely maze also that children can kind of interact with and use their finger to go through the maze, and it kind of takes them to a little point. And then there's little statistics on the access that children have to rights in South Africa. And then we also have pamphlets on different services that these children can access. You know, if their rights are being abused, they can go to places like child welfare and so forth. So, you know, we're providing with information, but also services they can access if their rights are being abused.
The purpose of the museum is a way of people and children connecting through their childhood.
I think children are the most precious individuals in our society, and often people forget that childhood is something that connects all of us. All of us have a childhood, and like I said, there was no space or no museum that specifically celebrated childhood and the different aspects of childhood.
Chanel says the museum is open to all ages, and kids visiting this museum will experience so many activities, including storytelling.
The room that we're actually sitting in now is called our story room. So we have stories for children from different South African authors and also international authors. In this room, we also have an area called our story writing area, so children can actually come in and write their own stories. We also have the Red Cross Children's Hospital room, where we focus on children and health. I mean, it's a world-renowned hospital, and it's a lovely exhibition where you can see how the hospital has evolved over the years. We also have a lovely sort of earphone that you can listen to, Red Cross Children's radio, so it's really, really sweet. And we also have a lovely post box in there, so if you can write a letter to one of the children at the hospital, you put it in that post box, it makes a nice sound, and then you kind of get another little card out there, and it's like a did you know kind of fact about the hospital.
The organization decided to do a room of the former President Nelson Mandela to remind people of the kind of man he was.
In almost all of his kind of activities, if he had the chance to interact with children, he would make time for them, he would talk to them, he would engage with them on their level. And he also advocated a lot for the rights of children in our country. So we've included this exhibit which contains pictures and stories about children who met Mandela when he was a president. And it's really there just to show, if this is someone of his stature, someone of his stature can take time to interact with kids, what is it that we as ordinary humans can do to promote children's rights and to interact with them on their level, and really to kind of just celebrate them as a critical part of our society.
The museum is open to receiving donations, whether it be books, toys, and even those who would like to volunteer to read for children. The Cape Town Museum of Childhood is set to open its doors by next year, January 2020, and it won't cost you anything to visit this beautiful museum. The museum will provide an opportunity for young people and children to come and learn and explore all about their childhood. For our City News, I'm Edna Cangolo, Rondebosch.